Hi, Alka. How are you?
Hello there, Marianne. I'm great. How are you doing?
Excellent. We're just talking about money, and we had, just like everything in business, because my first speaker had a huge family emergency. So I literally got Nikki out of bed, and now,
Oh,
now we're
oh,
talking about money and happy money and how it's okay to, walk around and say stuff. So that's perfect. Thank you so
well,
much.
the affirmations are so powerful. It's what you're affirming to yourself every day. Absolutely. I agree with that.
Is that so? There we go. We'll just transition lightly into Alka. Did you want me to read your bio still? You're kind of a regular on here now. I think everyone knows you.
Well, you can if you like. Well, I can say it. Either way, doesn't matter.
No worries. We will read your bio. I think I still have it here. Nikki, thank you so much for that. And thank you so much for showing up. Like that is a trooper and a half, a true entrepreneur, because stuff happens. Life happens. It is what it is. Like, what are you gonna do?
Well, thank you so much for having me here, and I will be back with you later today.
Yes, I will see you at noon. Thank you so much. Okay, let me go. How come I can't make this smaller? What's happening here? Mm, oh, there we are. Okay, good. Okay, so here we have Alka Sharma is a real estate investor. Ooh, a woman after my own heart. She guides women to gain the knowledge, understanding, and confidence to invest in real estate. Helping her clients is the utmost concern. Alka is an accomplished ballroom dancer. That's amazing, right? I wouldn't mind being an accomplished ballroom dancer. No wonder your posture is always so perfect.
Oh,
Having competed both nationally and internationally, she enjoys the high of dance performance and training. The high of dance performance and training.
hmm.
High of dance and performance and training. That has got to be a separate kind of high, right? Like
That is.
a legal kind, and a
Right.
non-alcoholic and non-drug kind. Alka is grateful for all of her experiences that have shaped her today as an entrepreneur real estate investor. And with that, I give you Alka Sharma.
Well, thank you so much, Marianne. Always great to be with you and excited to be with you this morning as well. Well, my journey simply began back in 2004 when, as you just read my bio, when I began to really, find what was my passion, what was my love that I wanted to really gain that self-control, really have that self confidence back in my life again when my life, was dark. It was the very traumatic time that I had come from, that now I really wanted to just be inspired as to what is out there. And, Miriam, what I want to share with everyone is that no matter what the adversities that you may be going through, no matter what challenges come your way, roadblocks, we all have adversities. But what I have learned in my lifetime as I have gone through my journey was you got to find passion. You've got to find absolutely 100% for your health and for your mental, um, you know, for your mental, health. You really got to find what you absolutely love. And when I found dance, or dance found me back in 2004, it was just like a happy marriage. And from that moment on, I began competing, and I competed both nationally, internationally, as you shared in my bio. But I really loved, absolutely, because I began then when I lost my identity. I found my identity. I've gained back the confidence. I gained back the self-esteem and everything that I had lost. I found it. I found it, and I'm so happy and I'm so grateful, because without the passions that we all yearn for, without that, I wouldn't be, doing half the things that I'm doing today, but it's with passion.
Yes, yes, passion's so important. And so what do you find? Because I know you do coaching with women, so do I. What
Mhm.
is your biggest obstacle that you end up working on with them, or what's the biggest challenge that women have, do you find?
What I have found, and it's a commonality that all of us do come, is all of us that we have, is that, oh, I don't feel it's possible for me to achieve a, when it comes to real estate investments of any kind. I don't think it's possible to do so. And I think when you set that mindset already prior to even achieving or attempting to make those investments or to whatever endeavor that may be, if you already have your mindset already blocked out that I don't think it's possible, then you know what? The universe is already telling you, okay, well, it's not possible. Okay, forget it, because you've already said that. And I know when I did that also, that, oh, I don't think it's possible. But then you know what? It's always reprogramming. You got to reprogram, you got to rewire your thinking, as you just shared with Nikki. It's the affirmations. What are you saying constantly every single day that is that proof that you are the best version? Every single day, you're going to be that best version of yourself. So the challenge is that I find, and it is a commonality amongst most women, is that I don't think it's possible. And I think when we can step out of, saying that is not possible, then I think then we can really achieve what we set out to achieve.
So true. That's my number one thing. I think that must be everyone's number one thing,
Hmm.
is
Oh, yes.
also with my because 95% of my clients are women. So I find it's always self-esteem, and women are so good at putting themselves last, right? Kids
Yeah,
first, husband next, or husband first, then kids, depends. But either way, it
right,
doesn't matter.
right.
They're always at the end.
Hmm.
And if they're
Absolutely.
at the end, how are you going to be able to do anything? By the end
Exactly.
you arrive, you're all like, you're exhausted. You don't even have time to love yourself.
No, exactly. Well, you know what? You've always got to have that, the glass half full. If
Right?
your cup is not runneth over, then how are you going to, as you said, have time for your loved ones, for your family, for your children, for your husband? But having that time, you cannot do that. But therefore, and I've learned that as well, is that you have to carve that time for you. You've got to make that time for you. You got to have that self-care time for you. And my morning routine starts with working out.
Mhm.
When I work out, you know, this is where it's my prime time to focus on myself. I have the energy. When I have the energy, my day, it looks fantastic. But if I don't work out, not to say it's not fantastic, but I have my morning routine. And women, we got to have a routine that we know that really pumps us up, that we feel jazzed up to start the day. So have that routine, have that self-care. Start with loving you, whatever that may look like, whatever you want to do, but start having prime that time for you so that you can have time for your family, for friends. After you feel more energized and you are fuel filled because you've already had your day started in the rocking, fantastic way.
So
So I
true.
love that. Yeah.
So true. I love that you said, okay, if I don't do it, it doesn't mean your day is like,
Yeah,
it
that's
doesn't mean
right.
it's horrible. It
Uh-huh.
just, I just don't feel as balanced. I don't feel as grounded. I
Yes.
don't feel,
Yes.
I
Hmm.
feel a little off kilter. I feel like, oh, okay, this didn't quite turn out. Yeah, I'm very specific with my morning routine. I don't know about you, because I know you're a little bit younger than me. Well, probably a lot younger than me, but I'm 62. If I don't do stretching in the morning, I'm
Mm.
probably not going to have a good day, because I can't live anymore without stretching. Stretching is a must.
Right. It
So,
is.
that goes without saying. I'm a
Hmm.
hardcore addicted meditator. Like I cannot get up out of bed without doing at least one meditation in bed. Then I do my with my other additional stretches, whatever I call it, all yoga because it's stretching. And then I do some more a little bit more rigorous meditation with some breath work and so on and so forth, because I think it's important to fill up your body with some oxygen.
It
I'm,
is.
I'm not I don't know about you, but I don't do cardio in the morning, but I do the stretching. So the breath work kind of works almost in a similar capacity, not quite, obviously.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting you said breath work because, you know, breathing, when I had my studio, I would, you know, I had Pilates classes, and the instructor, you know, in the beginning of the workout and then towards the end, she would do, you know, breath work because it is so important. Like I said, you know, we need to have that oxygen to the body, to the brain. That really helps us to focus so much better, have that clarity. And then what I did, obviously, I had to open. Oh, yeah.
I have an oximeter. Sorry, I'm here.
Okay.
I'll put it in here. It's really kind of cool. It's the same thing that
Nice.
the has, and you put your finger in there. I'm not
Right.
going to say the finger, but this is the finger that you're supposed to put in there, and then it
Uh-huh.
measures your oxygen, right? And your
Oh, fantastic.
yeah, like it's kind of cool. Anyways, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, that's amazing. No, I was just alluding to the point that you just made, that, you know, breath work and breathing exercise that are very, very important. And so when I opened the studio, you know, that was just my time to like do some breath work. And I really found the benefits of deep breathing, you know, from your diaphragm, because that's where, you know, it's hugely important. So I absolutely agree with you. And now I've started to incorporate that into my day too.
Oh, yes. And then if I have an event that day, so like today I have this, I do an extra meditation right before I go on camera. I just want my energy to be as calm. And it's funny because we've spoken about this in some of my masterminds that I go to and belong to. And I said to someone, I said, oh yeah, at every single summit, I do one every month now. At every single summit, something goes wrong. You know, it's either technology, somebody can't make it, or the microphones don't work. There's always something. And I said, you know, and they're like, well, what do you do? And I said, you got to move on. And, you know, like today, someone called me. Normally I would come on at about 8:45. I would do an intro, make sure everything works.
Yeah.
Set up the live, speak for a little bit. 9 o'clock person would start at 9, and you know, we're ready to go.
Right.
Just as I was about to go on, he sent me a message. He had a family emergency, and I said, oh, okay, let me see who's around. So I left a couple of messages, and I thought, okay, if somebody joins me, great. If not, I'll talk. And also, we don't have to start right away. Like we can start a few minutes late. It's not like it's never happened before. My goodness, I've had to do it because of technology issues, never mind because someone couldn't make it. So you got to be ready for anything. But in order to be able to be calm, to handle that and not go, oh, what am I going to do? Panic. Well, that's why the 3 meditations in the morning. That's why the stretching. That's why the journal. That's why I had two sessions. I had one session, I think one energy session this week, and I think the other one was either last week or the week before. So I'm trying to get one more before I go away, because I'm going away next week. So that's also important. It's important to have everything, you know. I got a pedicure, I got my hair cut. I need to get in for a massage. I haven't been able to.
Oh, your massage. Yeah.
But that's coming next week.
Oh, that's so good. So where are you going to next week?
I am going to Cancun, and we'll be talking about these supplements later on today at noon. But these, we had I think it was a sales, I don't know. Either way, I won a trip to Cancun. And so
good.
We're having a conference, and that's for 2 days. And the other days we're just kind of hanging out and doing some team stuff. That's pretty much it. So we're there.
Amazing.
It's a week. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. So you know what it's like as an entrepreneur, just before you're going anywhere on vacation, you have 25,000 things to do, right? You can take care of all the clients because you're going to be away for a whole week, right?
Yeah. exactly.
So
And
any,
that's where automation comes in, you know, because when you're away, you know, automate your stuff so that, you know, it doesn't matter where you are in the world.
Mhm.
Your business runs on automation.
Yeah, it does. A lot of it is okay. I just don't have as many, Zoom calls as when I'm away, but I still have internet. I still do my stuff.
Yeah.
I now learn to do offers almost anywhere where real estate is concerned. It doesn't
Oh,
matter
yeah,
where I
yeah.
am. And if I'm not there,
Right.
I'll try to get someone to do the paperwork for me because usually I can't do it if I'm away. But yeah, life
Um,
goes on. Like stuff happens, life happens. It's like I don't have kids. I wasn't blessed with any kids, but you know what? Anyone who's got kids, you know what happens. You're ready to do this, you've got planned this, and then poof, one of the kids gets sick.
I never get sick. Yeah.
All your plans go down the tube, right? So you
Hmm.
have to be
Hmm.
prepared for that. That's not something you can change. Not really. I mean, you can try to get
No.
better, that's about it. But
Hmm.
this is the same thing. I mean, your child is important. You're going to stay home with the kid. Like that's what's going to happen, whether you like it or not. Whether your
Exactly.
boss
That's
likes
right.
it or not.
Well, that's true. Marianne, you know what you mentioned, you know, life happens, things happen, you know, life does go on, but you know, life has to go on. In
Mhm,
spite of the fact that, you know, there are technical difficulties, there are so many things that maybe unexpectedly that just happen. If
mhm.
it's a live event, whether you are hosting a live event or what do you do in that situation? In terms of the calmness that we were just talking about. What do you do if it's a live event that you are hosting
Are
and
you
there's some technical issues that happen? What do you do? I mean, it's very easy. Some people, you know, listening to you are thinking, well, that's easier said than done. But you know what? So what do you do
So
in
I
that?
personally have not hosted giant events. I've
Okay.
spoken at events that were big. I mean, I've spoken at
Mm-hmm.
up to 25,000 people. And
Right.
that was a lot of fun and everything went really pretty good. But I've never spoken at an event where if the microphone, let's say, it didn't work,
Yeah. Oh, the
or
mic. Yeah.
or if someone's PowerPoint couldn't work or whatever. That's why I suggest to people don't PowerPoint. PowerPoint, I don't know. It's
I'm
okay.
not a fan. Yeah, I'm not a fan of PowerPoints.
I'm not a fan of PowerPoint. I will do it if someone really requests it, but I would rather not. Like it's just a
Right.
crutch.
Yes.
And I
Mhm.
would rather hear you, and I would rather think that people would rather hear you as opposed to look at pictures. Now, if you want to revert to a PowerPoint for a short amount of time, I think that's okay.
Mhm.
If you're teaching something, if you're teaching a class, that's a little bit different. But if you're speaking at an event, I don't know if I want PowerPoint, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I I've never had anything so much that we've needed technology that badly that we couldn't function, that the class couldn't function. So
Mhm.
that's live. Live is actually easier that way. I've done a lot of retreats. Retreats are tough. So here's one of the most common things, it's people come there, I like retreats where where you can turn off the phones if at all possible for at least, a period of time, right? I mean, we have
Yeah.
like I am a real estate agent. I can't go anywhere where you have to tell me unless I have like no listings, then that's okay. Then it's
Mm.
okay if I shut myself down for a day or two or three, that would be the most. But
Right.
yeah, you just kind of all kinds of things happen at a retreat because people are there, like they've traveled, they poured some happy money into their retreat.
Yeah. Yeah.
They come there and now starts the um releasing, let's just call it. So releasing of
Mhm.
kinds of negative energies and whatever it is that
Mhm.
the emotions, whatever it is we're releasing. So usually by day 2 or 3, if it's a week-long one, by 3, 4 day, oh wow, those are tough days because there's all kinds of stuff going on, right? Those are the days where all kinds of stuff is coming out and people don't know how to handle it. So
Right.
you
Uh-huh.
have to
Mhm.
act there. So you have to team up in teams so one can support the other.
Right.
Stronger. We're always stronger in twos. We're stronger in teams. We're stronger in groups, right? Like it's just the way that it is. So you just got to
Yes. Yeah.
go with the flow. There's got to be a
Mhm.
lot going with the flow. You actually have to put in some empty time in there and lighten those days up. I usually lighten those days up and give more free time on those days so that they can meditate if they have to, sit there and cry it out.
Right.
Have to.
Right.
There's usually a pool or a hot tub or both, or an ocean, or all three things close to there. I remember we had rented this house in Hawaii to do a retreat, and
Yeah.
we had the biggest terrace I may have ever seen. It literally
Wow.
wrapped around the house. We had an infinity pool with a hot tub, and then this gigantic terrace. And I said, this terrace is perfect. People can,
Wow.
there was all these private spots that you could
Yeah.
do if you didn't
Mhm.
want to be bothered, right?
Right. Right.
So it's,
That's
yeah,
beautiful. Wow.
improvise. You have to improvise everywhere. You have to improvise because you don't know what's going to happen. And if the mic goes, what am I going to do? I'm probably going to take them through a breathing exercise, right? So that everyone
Mhm.
can calm down. And we'll all
Mhm.
meditate now, because if it's my event, somewhere in there, we're going to meditate anyways.
Yeah, okay.
So it may as well be
And
done.
that's beautiful. Yeah. No, that is beautiful. Meditation.
Lord knows
Um,
I'm not the techie person who's going to fix anything. So,
no, me too.
someone else is
No, I'm
going
not
to be
taking
there.
it. Exactly. Oh, that is so beautiful. No, I absolutely, I love doing meditation. I listen to Joe Dispenza.
Oh, I love
He's
Joe.
he's incredible. I listen to his guided meditation,
Mhm.
and that my morning is just beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful. Since I've gotten to do meditation, I'm just loving, yeah, just love it.
Him and Esther Hicks are probably two of my favorites. Steve
Yeah.
from Lightworker. Let me see who else. Oh, I love Esther Hicks. Um, I love Louise Hay. I love listening to her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of sorry she's gone, but I know she's working. She's working from the other side, and she's just lovely. So I'm so
Oh,
happy that she created Hay House, and it's continuing. Marianne Williamson, I like her. I like that. Like, I like listening to a lot of people, and it's really great. So there's really no need to be in a bad mood or to have, rough days, because there's so much free stuff on YouTube. If you can't afford, or
right.
you can't afford,
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's coaching or group coaching or seminars, there's so much free stuff out there. You have no excuse, literally.
Absolutely. Yeah. When it comes to improving your mind, I think Esther Hicks, she's from The Secret. Is that right?
She was not in the
Oh,
secret.
okay.
She
She's
was
not The Secret.
supposed to be, but she yeah, she
Mm,
does she channels Abraham. She's a lot on the internet,
right.
on YouTube.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a lot
Okay.
of wonderful things. So I love that whole spiritual thing. So
I know
we'll
it's
be talking more
beautiful.
about that in August, because August 15th, we are doing holistic harmony.
Oh,
So
wow.
this was more money harmony, and this will be more holistic harmony. So we'll be talking
Beautiful.
a lot
Mm.
about that. No, that's perfect. And we're almost at time. That's fantastic. Do you have any final words for the audience?
Women, I just want women to always be the best versions of themselves, no matter what adversities you're going through. If your goal is to be financially free one day, your goal is to be financially independent, you need to be financially independent, because when it comes to money, um, and wealth, we cannot rely on the male figures in the family. We need to be the one to command our economy.
It's true. It's true. You have to be in charge of your own economy. And I'm going to be doing some real estate um, teaching, let's say. There's a whole group that one of my clients is, she's an immigrant. And so she belongs to a bunch of immigrant women's groups. And she wants me to do that with them. She goes, so many of them want to move forward, but they don't understand. They
Right.
think if they have
Mhm.
$10,000 that they can do something with that. And I go, you can, but probably not very much. You can do it in if a bunch of you get together, you can start off with a smaller property.
Yeah.
I have properties all over the place because I work primarily with investors. I have all kinds of properties available. So
Hmm.
beautiful. And it could be, to get a property in Canada anywhere for like 250, let's say, that's amazing. That's amazing. You can't go wrong with that. This is the time to buy if you have any
Oh, it
money.
is. Yeah.
Is this is the time to buy. This is not the time to sell, but it is the time to buy for sure.
Exactly. Because there are so many opportunities out there, but you got to look for those hidden gems. There are gems everywhere, but you need to know where they are and
Yes.
get that deal. The deal. That's what it is.
Get the deal. Start small. Start with this. Start
Mm.
in a group. There's lots of ways to start. There's no need for you to wait until you have $200,000 in your bank. Like that's going to take forever.
Yeah.
Get it. I know a
Right.
lot of mortgage agents that can help you, and they
Mhm.
don't cost any money. And some do because they're brokers and you have to pay broker. I mean, everybody gets paid, and others you don't. Depending on your credit score and depending on your situation. And, sometimes we're not working 2 years yet, and credit score is a little weaker. So yeah, so we're going to send
Yeah.
you to a broker because the bankers probably aren't able to create anything.
Exactly. And they've got the deals. They have the deals. If you want to work with a broker or real estate agent, they have the deals and they can show you. But like I said, yeah, start small, but start.
Yeah, just get started. Don't wait. Like just
Hmm. Hmm.
action, take some action. And yeah, ask around. There's always something.
That's right.
I had a property just under 200. Oh my God, that didn't last long at all. Even in
Where
this
was
market, that
where
went
was that?
fast. That was
Where
in
was that?
So Tilsonburg is an hour and a half away from Toronto. Well, actually, depending on which end of Toronto. If it's east end of Toronto, it's going to be Toronto's big, people. For those of you who who are
Yeah.
from our area, Alka lives in Toronto. I live on the other end. I'm in a place called Mississauga, which is about, gosh, if I were to get in a car, I'd probably be at the border in like 5 minutes or less. But
Mhm.
honestly, this is probably from just Toronto border to Tilsonburg was about a good hour and a half, maybe hour and 45 minutes. So
Right.
that's how far you have to drive. And there was a small, tiny condo and it was for sale and they were in a hurry, and that's why it was under two.
Oh,
It
right. Okay.
exists. It came with a tenant. You didn't even have to look for one. It
Oh,
came
that's
with
so
a tenant
good.
regularly. Yeah, there's
Wow.
deals. I have a tenant that she's on welfare. And so the way welfare works is they send me her part of the check right away. Like they send it to me directly.
Oh, okay.
So I'm
Uh-huh.
never going to be without rent,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. Right. So
Oh, yeah.
there's a lot of really wonderful things. I know people hear horror stories about tenants. I choose not to believe them. I haven't seen any hardcore ones. I'm not saying they don't exist. Of course they do. But just think positive. And, I'm grateful for my tenants. I love my tenants. They think I'm crazy
Right.
when I talk to them, and we've never met. That's what property management companies are for.
That's right. That's what they do. They screen them and they help you find the tenants. But
That's
that's
right.
great. It's good if you don't have those horror stories about tenants. Um, then that's good. But when it comes to deals, yeah, I mean, it probably sounds kind of tricky, when you're first starting, but just start. Don't hesitate. Just go right there for it.
Do what Nike says. Just do it.
Just do it.
Go. Take
Yeah.
that first step. Take that first step, and
Hmm.
don't wait for your other friends. If I have a client, she is super anxious. She doesn't have a ton of money, so she doesn't have enough yet. I either got to
Hmm.
find her something really, really, really low, or I don't know, but she's an architect who a new one. So that's why she's just paying off student loans still. So
Right. Yeah.
so
Mhm.
but she does have some savings, which good for her. She's got more savings than I do, actually. I don't have a lot of savings because as soon as I have money, I buy something.
Right.
Like I
You
buy
find
a
the next
buy a property.
investment. Yeah.
I
Uh-huh.
buy a property right away, or with someone. Like right now, I have another one. I have another project with a client of mine, actually. So you don't
Okay.
always have to have a ton of money, people. You can do lots of things, right?
Yes.
Alka
True.
can help. We can help. Everyone can. Just
Yes.
just get out there and do it.
Exactly.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Alka, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Marianne. Always a pleasure to be with you.
Always a pleasure to have you. Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yes.
And you have yourself a fantastic day. I know some of what you're doing today because you shared with me with some of my other guests and he'll
Right.
be later. And so you guys go have fun and have a fantastic day. Thank you so much. Mwah.
Thank you so much, Miriam.
Thank you.